Hey, how are ya? No time for witty jokes. Going to see The Little Mermaid, the new live-action movie, and it's starting in about 2 minutes, or at least the trailers and commercial starts in about 2 minutes. So I still got some time, but honestly, I've been in such a rush to get up here. Didn't really have time to think of a witty thing to say at the opening of this video, so I'm just gonna say I really like the original. It's not the one that I've watched the most when I was growing up, for reasons that I will explain in the second half of this video because I'm running out of time. But I do really like it, and I love the songs, and I do love the characters, and I'm really interested to see how they're going to translate the underwater realm of the Little Mermaid movie into pseudo live action in this movie. So see you then, and something from the movie to say at the end of this part of the video. Goodbye. Under the sea, under the sea. Yeah, as you can see, I just got out of the movie and I'm all wet, just to prove that I've seen the movie. Yeah, it was a full underwater experience, by the way, this whole movie. I'm just messing with you. Now, The Little Mermaid, the live-action movie, the Disney live-action remake. I guess that's one way of putting it. What do I think about this movie? Okay, so first things first, I like it. I like it a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was really enjoyable. If you've seen the original, or rather, if you love the original, you're gonna love this. I did mention up top that the original, not my favorite among the Disney pantheon of movies, which is a very, very hard list of movies to get on my top 20 at the very least. But probably the reason I don't love the original as much might be due to the fact that I didn't see it as much. And now that I have the time, I can say why. It's because Ursula scared the living daylights out of me when I was a kid. So I haven't watched it till I was like 16 or 17 maybe. Yeah, I watched it once as a little child and just didn't go back to it as much as all the other Disney movies. So maybe that's why it's so relatively low on my list, but I still do really enjoy the movie every time I revisit it. Maybe that played a little bit of a part into why I didn't. Well, I did say I liked this movie, but as far as the Disney live action remakes go, even it's not really that high up there. But I mean, if you look at some of my favorites of the Disney live action remakes, for the most part, with some exceptions, it mostly just follows the list of my favorite of the animated versions. So really, it is what it is. It's my response to the live action Little Mermaid is around the same as my response to the animated version, which is not a bad thing. It's really good. It's a really good movie. I like them both. Now, talking a little bit about the movie itself as opposed to the original, or rather the differences between them. Like I said, it's a really good movie. I loved the way they translated the underwaterness of Ariel's world, the part of her world, into the live action realm. Sometimes it could be done great, sometimes it could be done very poorly. I'm going to use some examples here, like the underwater scenes from the Aquaman movie from a couple of years ago were great, amazing. Did not enjoy at all the underwater scenes from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Like, it was incredibly dark down there, very difficult to see, and just, I felt it was bad, naturally, because, it was a really, obviously I know, yeah, guess what, underwater is very dark, it's very hard to see, I understand that, I accept that, but this is a movie with fantasy rules in it. They could have done more. The Little Mermaid, though, I think is somewhere in between Aquaman and Wakanda Forever. It's definitely not too dark to see. And it's very beautiful down there, as it is for underwater in general. In real life, it's just not as flashed out as I would have expected. because when you see in the animated version the scenes in the palace and all kinds of other areas, it almost feels like it really is an underwater city down there, the city of Atlantica. They didn't do as good of a job in this movie. I mean, there really is just only one main location. I'm not going to give him too much away, but there really is only one main location in the movie that's part of the underwater city, and that's about it. So that was a bit of a bust. The mermaids, though, even though there aren't a lot of them in the movie, I think the design of the mermaids in this movie outshines the animated version by a mile. Like, I love every single mermaid is its own individual character, almost, with their own individual scale patterns and colors and even fin structure. Some of them have extra fins. Like every single mermaid looks different to the other, which is great. I love that. It's a great attention to detail. Unfortunately, there aren't that many to see in the movie. I love what they did with Ariel's sisters in this movie. They're a little bit more presence in this movie. They did something pretty interesting, not giving anything away. They did something very interesting with her sisters. It's just, unfortunately, it wasn't as fleshed out as they would have hoped. They could have done a little bit more. Not too much, but, a little bit. But I did love the inclusion of that. There is a double meaning in there somewhere, so let me know if you find it. And, well, as these live-action movies tend to do, they fleshed out the prince a lot more, thankfully. They fleshed out the human characters a lot more. I actually prefer the human characters in this movie a lot to the animated characters, human characters in the movie. And as far as the sea characters, they're more or less the same. I mean, they are as you would expect. Ursula was really good as the witch, and I think Melissa McCarthy nails that character the way it was supposed to be. The David Diggs was great as Sebastian, Jacob Tremblay as Flounder, and I love Aquafina as Scuttle. She was incredible. I just love her in everything I see her in. Obviously, elephant in the room, Halle Bailey. I really hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She's great. I mean, she's a spot-on, perfect casting for Ariel. And she does the voice, she does the movements. She's adorable. Like, cute as a button. They could not have cast a better Ariel if they tried. So, I mean, like, yeah. Disney keeps nailing the casting for these live-action movies. The results of the movies are kind of hit and miss, but the castings are always great, 100%. Same thing goes for Javier Bardem as King Triton, and the kid that played Eric, which I'm kind of forgetting his name at the moment. But yeah, the human characters were really good, but the sea characters, the characters we're familiar with from the original, perfect casting, great acting, and they do some changes for the movie, natural changes, certain things that you can do in animation but can't really do in live action. I was a little bit curious how they were going to pull that off, and I think they did a really good job with it. There is one significant change that they did to the plot of the movie. Not going to give anything away, but I think it was the right move, and it was done really well for the times we live in. And a couple of extra scenes that weren't in the original movie. There's a couple of extra songs as well. Even Scuttle got a song. Scuttle got a song in the movie, which is great. I love it. I think it's my favorite of the new songs they added. But yeah, some extra scenes with Ariel just wandering around, figuring out the human world that don't make her look like an idiot the way that it did in the animated version. I appreciated that. And just, I wish those scenes would have been longer. Of course, speaking of scenes, I think it's inevitable that we get to talk about the Under the Sea scene, the song. Now, it's important to understand that this being a live-action adaptation, there are certain limitations that come with it. Same thing as it was for the live-action Lion King remake with the "Just Can't Wait to Be King" scene. the same limitations apply here, and I think they did a really good job with what they had, and they even went a little extra with it. And I think they handled the under the sea scene better than they handled the Just Can't Wait to Be Seen scene in the Lion King remake. And just overall, it's a really gorgeous looking movie, well acted. It's more or less the same as the original with added bonuses, just like most of these live action remakes. I think where they do stick to the original plan of the original movies is where those live action remakes shine, when they try to make them something different and completely not what the originals were. Those movies just fail. Like, and it's not because they tried to do something different, it's because the different thing that they tried to do was bad. And and wasn't really well thought out. So, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, the original movies worked for a reason. They were great. When they stick to the original format and formula of the originals, that's really when these live action remakes are great. And I'd love to see more of these. I'm the odd one out. I'm the guy that actually does enjoy these live action remakes of these original Disney animated movies. So I think I said about all I can say about this movie. This movie is really worth a watch. I wouldn't put it as a high top tier of the live action remakes, but I pretty much do the same for the original. So I mean, if you love the original, you're gonna love this one. There really is no other way for me to say it. So if I had watched the original as much as other movies, maybe I would have felt differently. But either way, it's a great movie. It's a really good movie. And it gets my thumbs up. This is another win for the Disney live action remakes. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hi there. Thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends. I'll see you next time.